Story 1. I often hear that Japan is associated with cherry blossoms, organized crime, and neon-lit streets. But is that really the case? What kind of image do you actually have of Japan? I feel like this happens with every country, but it's always interesting to see how other nations perceive your own. At the very least, I think many Japanese people enjoy the way Japan is portrayed in foreign media. For example, the Japan shown in Captain America, Brave New World, felt much more intimidating than reality, which honestly made me laugh. There is no way anyone in modern Japan could stand up to other countries so confidently. Story 2, Snow Monkeys, Bullet Trains, Mount Fuji, good snow, great affordable food but very expensive hotels, helpful people, complex public transportation system with various cards and apps, bonsai gardens, temples, technology, clean streets but no trash cans. Story 3, how much they hid and were able to rebrand after World War II and that they were literally Nazi supporters. Story 4, I'm saying this as someone who has been there. It was expensive and the people were not very social, but they were very polite and clean. Once was enough for me. Peace out, Japan, and keep doing you. Story 5, cool fishing gear I can't find here in the United States. Pride in craftsmanship. The movie Lost in Translation. Sports, Inoue, boxing, Odagiro, and Ono, wrestling. Jiro dreams of sushi. Story 6. The best meat in the world is found in Japan. I have visited Japan numerous times, and this is one of the main reasons I return. Story 7. 5 years in a Japanese prison. I smoked a joint while stationed there. It was a bad idea. They got us out of the country in the middle of the night. Story 8. My grandma was a comfort woman who died believing she was back in Japan-occupied Korea. She cried every night, begging for mercy. Story 9. Horrific war crimes for which they still have not apologized or even acknowledged. A nation without honor. Story 10. I worked for a Japanese company. They are culturally rich, making it impossible to sum it up. The people are polite and moral, and the culture includes diverse aspects such as food, Buddhism, Shintoism, feudal building techniques, and origami. It's all so amazing. Story 11. Ikigai, lifelong purpose for life. Cherry blossoms, bullet trains, sumo wrestling, Hachiko statue, lucky cat waving hands, sushi, 5S system in the workplace sort, set in order, shine, sustain, standardize, cleanliness and discipline during the Qatar FIFA World Cup. Players cleaned the locker room and left a thank you message. Fans cleaned the stadium. Story 12. The continuing Fukushima disaster. Story 13. It's the only country in the world I really would like to visit, but that will unfortunately never happen. Story 14. Bullet trains, manga, and hentai. They live in the year 2000 but have been stuck since 1960, having been super advanced in technology. Story 15. I think about my bedroom window that overlooks the town with the mountains in the background. It is a very beautiful scene. Story 16. COVID Olympics. However, that is likely more of a personal experience for me, as I work as a freelancer at the Olympics. Story 17. I'm sorry, but I cannot process that request. Story 18. A very orderly society. They are so orderly that they have stagnated. The people appear to be very polite. The food is great. I do not care much for the music and animation, but I know many people who enjoy it. Story 19. Weird sexual culture, both puritanical and deprived at the same time, with excessive focus on young-looking girls. Story 20. Convenience store food is amazing. The orderly living, commuting, and politeness of the people contribute to a positive experience, enhanced by technology and efficient public transportation. Story 21. Politeness is a virtue, but sometimes the concept is reinforced in a way that puts pressure on people. The positive aspect is that everyone treats each other nicely. The negative aspect is that if you are slightly less polite on one occasion, you might be judged by others, even though it may not harm anyone or make anyone feel less happy. Story 22. Into my mind immediately comes an intersection near Okazaki, Aichi Prefecture, which was where I first realized I wanted to live here. The sounds of the intersection and the sense of warmth, order, and safety combined to make me feel very at home. I also appreciated that in many places, I could wander around and find a convenience store or restroom whenever I needed. Now, I live in a very different type of place. A small village on the wild storm coast of Amami-Oshima, where the nearest convenience store is some distance away. Still, there is so much peace and order here that I feel quite content. Story 23. Racism is unfortunately a significant issue. It has gotten bad enough that I do not want to go back to see my friends who live there. To be clear, this is not due to my actions. The incident that opened my eyes was when my friend, who is of mixed ethnicity, one parent Japanese, one parent Caucasian, was bullied for not looking Japanese enough. That day, I came extremely close to confronting a Japanese man. This was not an isolated incident. I could discuss this topic at length, but it updates me deeply, both personally and due to how it affects some of my friends who have no option to leave this country. I hesitate to post this response because, on one hand, I do not want people to see Japan the way I do now. However, it is a reality. Story 24. Nintendo, Hello Kitty, anime, manga, efficient public transportation, temples, shoguns, bowing, cherry blossoms, and delicious food in Tokyo Disneyland. Story 25. A well-ordered society, but one that has blatant discrimination. My Caucasian son and daughter, both well-mannered and in their 30s, went there on vacation. They were denied entry to some public restaurants that allowed only Japanese patrons. That was quite shocking. Story 26. The first 10 thoughts that came to mind are samurais, imperialism, xenophobia, ingenuity, reliability, dedication, honor, yakuza, beer, ethics. Story 27. Beautiful place, wonderful people, and a country that shows immense respect. The ambassadors from Japan and Wales learned the anthems and performed them in each country. A sweet and meaningful gesture of solidarity. Story 28. Awesome Zen gardens, interesting technology, and exciting game shows that are fun. Sushi and good food. Great people. Story 29. Tourists are flocking to popular spots in search of anime-related merchandise, while local residents look on in disbelief at how some fictional worlds have influenced these visitors. Story 30. I want Japanese people to grow in number. Don't let your beautiful society fade away. Story 31. I took the bullet train from Yokohama to Mount Fuji and climbed to the summit with 3 friends from the Navy. There are 10 climbing stations. Station 1 is the base station, where we purchased sturdy, hexagon-shaped walking sticks. At each station, there was a man who branded our walking sticks with a hot iron to show our progress. At Station 5, there are 4 trails to the summit. We took the Yoshida Trail because we were told it was the easiest. We received many friendly comments on the train ride back to Yokohama when people saw our branded walking sticks. It was a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Story 32. It is hard to explain, but during my visit, I often found myself thinking, this makes sense. Why don't we do this? While I don't remember everything, a few standout observations include the cleanliness everywhere, the kindness and respect people showed, the amazing affordable food, the presence of bidets, the absence of loud cars, the no-tipping policy, the punctual public transit, a simple nod to show appreciation, and the overall feeling of safety. There was so much more to appreciate. Story 33. Nuclear bombs were used in World War II, and the area was affected by the radioactive leak from the nuclear plant meltdown years ago. How can anyone on that island not be affected and remain healthy? I'm surprised anyone is still alive there. Story 34. Resilience, good food, and great technology. Additionally, the occupations and massacres they carried out in China without much remorse. Story 35. Their prison system is one of the most extraordinary in the world. Individuals can be held indefinitely for a crime before their trial, even without any evidence. Their legal system is remarkable, boasting one of the highest conviction rates globally. Story 36. Medieval women's literature includes The Tale of Genji, The Gossamer Diary, The Pillow Book, and the poetry of Izumi Shikibu. I appreciate it all. Even 1,000 years later, there is still so much to connect with. Story 37. There is a complete lack of trash cans in public spaces, and the trash cans in hotel rooms are far too small. Even if you try to collect all your waste throughout the day to dispose of it in your hotel, it becomes a major inconvenience. This experience turned my trip into a significant headache. I have never encountered anything like this anywhere in the world, whether in developed or developing countries, or anywhere else in Asia. I would not return to Japan simply because of this issue. Story 38. Pseudopedophiliacs. For lack of a better word, it is a society of adults who favor grown women who speak, sound, dress, and behave like 5-year-old girls. Story 39. I'm eager to try ramen. I have seen many videos of people making it on YouTube. I may not know the taste yet, but the process of making ramen seems delicate. Story 40. Vending machines are available for everything. I wish I could go out and get whatever I want without any human interaction. Story 41. What comes to mind when you think of a pair of socks? What comes to mind when you think of a sports car? What comes to mind when you think of a person who spends their time writing on Reddit about what people think of when considering something? Story 42. Sushi and Hello Kitty. Fast cars. Good beer. Precision and quality. Impressive martial arts. A people who have manners and are beautifully considerate. Story 43. Katana. Anime, soldiers marching and slaughtering civilians. Human experiments, Hirohito. Samurai. Bloom, Portuguese. Isolation, and Toyota. These are the top 10 things in the order they appeared in my mind. Story 44. My relatives who constantly talk about how amazing Japan is and express their desire to live their travel there almost every year. I have ended up disliking Japan because I feel envious and petty. Since I can't afford to travel there, I am left feeling bitter. Story 45. Cleanliness. Tokyo was exceptionally clean, with no litter or loose paper in sight. Even Osaka, which some consider dirty by comparison, was cleaner than any city in my home country. Story 46. The mass killing of dolphins and small whales every year is devastating. While I believe that Japan and the majority of its people are amazing, it is disheartening to know that the government will not put a stop to this practice. Story 47. Whale watching enthusiasts displaying inappropriate behavior, generally intolerant attitudes, accompanied by a challenging work culture, cold interactions, and a lack of confidence among employees. Innovative technology. Story 48. I was in Japan in January, and for me it always smells like morning dew and fresh air. There is something about Japan that makes me feel nostalgic. Story 49. As someone who recently returned to the United States for a few days, Japan is a land rich in delicious food wherever you go. Story 50. The Cat Island is the most beautiful place for me, but I have seen many negative opinions about visiting Japan as well. Story 51. Osaka. I love Osaka. If you are a gamer and you visit Osaka, check out a bar called Space Station. It is owned by an expatriate and features free-to-play retro gaming systems, with all the drinks inspired by video games. Additionally, visit Family Mart and 7-Eleven. After experiencing a Japanese convenience store, you realize that the convenience stores in your home country are not as convenient. Story 52. Technology is made up of extremely kind and respectful people. It is clean. I wish I could visit every year. It is one of my favorite places in the world. Story 53. I'm American, so first, the incredibly clean city streets and public transportation are impressive, even if they may be idealized in the media. Second, the traditional joinery is remarkable. Third, the cuisine, like sushi and ramen, stands out, along with aspects of Japanese culture such as the shogunate, samurai, and anime. However, I am increasingly frustrated with the poor infrastructure and housing here. Story 54. Brands like Toyota, Honda, Subaru, Yamaha, Ibanez, and Sony have a deep legacy of excellence. That is why they focus heavily on precision and mathematics. My family is from Japan, and I have also engaged in a lot of mathematical studies. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.